Good morning. Hi, welcome. My name's Ryan. Welcome to Hippie Witch Heart. We're going to design a crochet pattern from start to finish today. But first, coffee. If you're new here, I run a little hippie, witchy, crochet business. And one of my goals from 2025 was that I want to design something each month, start to finish, crochet pattern wise. Now, the pattern, I just have to design the pattern. It doesn't have to be like tested, ready for sale by the end of January, because that's too much. That's a lot. And I'm not doing that. I just have to design the pattern. So roughly I'm expecting each pattern to take about 3 months to be ready to release, because I'm going to take a month to create it, a month to test it, and then a month to edit it. I want to make sure that there's enough time for people to do things, because I currently work 2 jobs, and my goal this year is to not be doing that anymore via this process. But I also want to make sure that my testers have enough time to actually test the product and not hate it. Yeah, firstly, this was the most recent pattern that I finished. It's a beautiful shawl that I made with Hippie ombre yarn, so I didn't do any of the magic. This is already ombre. But I want to branch out. My background, if you don't know, I went to Florida State University for costume design for theater, and going from designing corsets to doing crochet, I realized that there is a severe gap in the crochet design industry, specifically from queer and queer femme people. I don't see it. Also, my particular niche of crochet is slutty. I love a good slutty crochet moment. I'm all for the girls that want to be modest and want to wear the shawls and the granny squares. Trust me, I love a good granny square. I make a ton of granny squares. But I want to elevate crochet and not expect it to be fashion, because there are some designers that do like crazy and incredible work, but theirs is just like fashion. I don't want that. My whole philosophy is, if I'm going to spend 40 to 80 hours on it, I want to be proud of what I'm making, and I want it to look good and not just like only something I can wear in winter, especially because I live in California. It gets hot here, which is why I mostly work with fingering weight, because then I can wear it whenever. It's like cold and windy right now, so this is fine. But I want to be able to wear stuff in the summer. How is this going to work? Well, I'm so glad you asked. I went to SoCal Fiber Fair this year in 2024, and I met some lovely dyers, and I posted on my Instagram, Threads, TikTok, basically anywhere that you can vote, for y'all to pick the yarn that you wanted. And you did, and I'm gonna keep doing that every month. I have the selections of yarn I wanna work with, and I want you to pick which ones we're gonna design for. Do you want to see what this month's design was? This one won out by a landslide. So we're gonna be making Seismic Yarn. This is gorgeous. This is all blacklight reactive. And I specifically posted in like the reel that I shared for it, that I had something in mind for EDC, because although she is retired because she's old now, I was a raver. I loved rave things, and I want to make fun, neon, enjoyable things to do. I also just said that my style is slutty crochet. Like, these are super bright colors. Having these be something crazy to wear, exciting for me. I'm going to, obviously, for any dyer I use, have their links and everything posted beneath so that you can get them if you want. This is something that I'll be posting weekly on vlogs. It'll be a weekly update of the design until the end of the month. However, I do have a Patreon tier that if you want to see more things, that you can subscribe to there, and that funding goes directly to giving me more time and resources to actually do this and design these patterns, and you will get daily updates and whatnot, like post how things are going and see it step by step. And it'll be like a self-tester thing, so you can design it along with me if you want to. So feel free to look into that. But if these are the yarns that you want to play with, these are the information for them. Both of these are the Seismic Butter Sock, which is an 85-15 superwash extra fine with merino and nylon. They have 437 yards to 100 grams. This one is 8 is Great from the Pretty Pretty Princess collection. And it's this, like, just look at these freaking makeup girlies. Freaking colors. And this is just sunlight right now. Like, barely any sunlight coming in. Like, it's dark in here in a nice way. But look at all the fun colors. And then this one is called Wish from the Compassion collection. Makeup girlies. This is a lot of greens, some slight blues in there, but the reason I picked the 2 of these is because if you look next to each other, there's some of this like yellow green neon color from this. So I figured that those would both tie in real nice. Where is my black light? Hold please. When she gave me these yarns, because these were both gifted, I will take complete honesty there, but they're both super like, love them. They're really, really, like buttersock is definitely a good way to phrase this, but they gave me a little branded black light. Look at that. You can't really see it. Seismic Yarn is such a cool company. You have Eva, who runs all of it. She is like the face of the brand. And then you have her husband, who is Mr. Seismic. And then you have her 2 kids that are there, which are the yarn interns. And they're lovely. Like, they're such fun people to be around. They have lots of really cool pins, aesthetic. There's this whole like blacklight bar setup where they have all of their yarn in and some of the makes. Typically right next to their good friends, Silver Pennies, which is Justine, who I love her, and Teal Torch, Christina, who again, lovely people. And Christina does a lot of really cool like neon dye works as well, and the Justine's makes and patterns are just incredible. All of them super supportive. They're lovely people. They've been super inspiring and super helpful with everything for me. Like, this whole series started because of Justine and her being like, no, we need designers in this space, so you should do it. So here we are. Thanks, Justine. Anyway, Eva let me pick just 2 yarns to work with, and I'm stoked. I'm gonna try and design everything with just these 2, but I may have to go back and buy more to finish this, but that's okay, because we want to support her. That's the whole point of doing this series, is to help get indie dyers seen while also creating designs, and if you're someone like me who wants to become a designer, teaching you how to do it. So let's get to it. First thing that I do typically when I'm designing things is I'll go on Pinterest and I'll pull up just like a ton of reference images that I want to kind of base my design off of. This is what we did in school with these, because they are this neon blacklight reactive. I want it to be fun and loose and airy, and I have roughly 900. It's more like 874, something like that, but like yarns. And you can make a lot with that. Like, this was 800 something, and it's pretty airy and flowy. These are both technically a fingering weight, but we can see what we can make based on how we space everything out. So we're gonna look at some designs of other things first and then go from there. Now, pro design tip, don't look just at crochet. A lot of people, when they're designing things, will look at a similar pattern of something that they want to make that already exists, and yeah, that's cool and all, but that's not where the creativity comes from. For me, I like looking at just anything. So it could be, some of these are like macrame, some of these are crochet, some of them are just draped fabric, some of them are runway things. Like this piece right here, Pinterest doesn't like when you take screenshots, but whatever. This is just an insane, like the way that it drapes around the neck and the structure that it has there, I love, but it's almost this like bodiced corset with 2 different colors in it. Or you have something like this, which is just a piece of fabric, but the way it's draped over the head and then comes around the bust is something that I really enjoy, and I'm going to try and duplicate. Plus you can see it from the back, so you can see that the hood has this like seam down it, which means it's essentially just 2 panels put together and then it's looped. Now, this isn't something I'm going to duplicate directly. However, it does let me know what shapes I can kind of play with and go from there. There's also something like this that has this like drape in the back, where it's just like a rectangle neck piece, and then it kind of swoops under, and you can think the design of how you want it. Now, this is clearly like a satin type material, which is not the same as wool, right? But it gives you a shape to play with, and then you can go from there. And there are a ton of things in here that like just are really freaking cool. Like, I love this as the way that the neck is structured, and you could really do that with chains and then stitching the chains to stay where they want. It would be a little looser, which would give it more movement if you went to a rave. But also, it has this like really cool shape that you can make with a minimal amount of fabric. This is what I mean when I say design. So these are things that we want to play with. When I first was doing crochet, I was very like, no sew. I wanted everything, which makes no sense to me, because in college, I made corsets. You can't make a corset with no sew. There's like 40 pieces that go around the bust alone just to shape the boob right. And I'm over here like, I don't want to sew. I've left that life behind me. No, we're gonna sew, bitch, and we're gonna like it. So, For designs, don't be afraid to make things in pieces and then build them together to make a structured garment. That's perfectly fine and probably going to give you a really cool shape. It'll set you aside from everything. Now, these are designs that I'm making for me and things that I think are going to be fun. I'm not considering levels. I'm not considering any of that. Like, I'm literally just, this is the yarn, this is the inspiration, let's create. The goal here is to just design a different pattern every month. I didn't say that it had to be simplistic. I didn't say that it had to sell well. I didn't say that it had to be like marketable. Like, I'm literally just in the process of designing and getting used to the creative juices of writing and making patterns, which is something that I think the creative industry, specifically in crochet, is really missing. We need people that are just not afraid to make something, and it's just yarn. If you don't like it, frog it, right? Cool. Let's get to sketching. I'm just gonna have to deal with my blinds being the way they are because I'm just doing this on my couch because I don't really care. But these don't have to be cute, right? Like, we're just making a rough sketch of what we want so we have an idea of where to go before we design it. Some people don't feel the need to sketch. I do because it lets me see structure and then I can like break it down flat lay style. I'm sketching this in just rough shape of the body. This is the first one with the hood, so it's gonna, I want it to like swoop around the face. It doesn't have to be exact because that's not really what we're going for here. It's almost like a bolero hood that goes up like this, right? And comes down and like straps onto the arms, almost like the Matrix hood. I know Olivia, the Witch of Wonderlist, just made it, but there's like, so we'll do this and like just shade it in for shaping purposes. These sketches don't have to be good, right? Nobody's judging me on being an artist, a drawing artist. Like, we're looking at it from the perspective of, so we've got face. Terrible drawing for face, don't care that. Now, the point of a dragon cowl is that when you have the head come off and the shoulders and stuff are here, right? The cowl sits like this, and it's like this big bunch of fabric on top, and then it's the cowl underneath. So that is an option that we can use here. So this is the first one with the hood. And these are just quick. Like, I'm not trying to be pretty or anything. I'm literally just sketching things so I have something to go off of to design with, and you should be doing a similar thing. Like, get your creative juices flowing. I like, this has this like X from this design that I really enjoy. And it goes into this kind of bodice thing, but I don't want to make a crop top with this. I want to make this like hood item. So instead, we're going to do this, and this is where the hood would be. Again, with the dragon cowl, put it in. Again, super short because the head's not in here. I'm just drawing like what the head shape would be. So this one, I can actually do the back, drape like this over, and then create the hood, and then these straps here, and have it cross over again. I actually really think this might be the better direction that I want to go, because thinking rave style, right? So like, a guy could wear this over his chest with nothing under it and he's just got his pecs hanging out. A girl could wear just like a bandeau or something and then have this cross over, and then maybe we have it cross again. So like, let's draw the back now. So this is the front, it's crossing that way. I want there to be like something else here. Like, maybe there's another band or something that goes here across the front like that. So it sits this way and it's like a harnessed in. Maybe there's like a who knows. Now this is the back of it, right? So we're going to draw the shoulders again. Same way. It crosses around the front, which means that that X would come here and go across the back. Maybe there's like a spine rib. Oh, that's sick. I like that. Okay. Boom. So you've got this like dragon hood situation. I love this though. I think that's going to be the concept. And so now I have to redraw this to get it where I want it to be for the final piece. The important thing is figuring out how we're going to break it down. So the hood itself, the component of a hood is done this way, right? Three-dimensionally, you have rectangle, rectangle, and you're going to do A to A, B to B, and that'll give you the seam. So when we draw it like this, this seam right here is seam B, and then down, because that's the back, and then this is the front of it, because it looks like that, right? So you've got B here, and then this becomes not B, comes A towards the front. So you have this top seam right here. So we've got this top seam right here, and top seam right here gets sewn together to create the top of it, and then this back seam and this back seam there, and that causes it to, like, if we're drawing it three-dimensionally, get rounded out, right? This is really messy, but I promise it will make sense in the reality of it. It's the same as taking two pieces of paper and putting like edge and edge together and folding it, which we'll get to that as we design it. But I think this is the design piece that we're gonna do. I'm going to go ahead and take these two and figure out how I'm gonna want the colors to line up and make this hood, because we've got the seam here that's gonna go down the back, seam, drape it, to make this like big, cool hood, have this X moment in the front. I think I'm gonna get rid of this bit and have it just be like this in the back, where it's like just this draped open hood. I'm excited. I have pencil all over my hand, but this is the creative process. This is how I start any sketch that I have, and then we just have to figure it out. All right, so now that we've drawn everything out, it's time to actually do the math and make it happen, which is the intimidating part. But don't be intimidated, because trial and error, baby. Lots and lots of error. Another thing to think out here is, like, how do you want the stitches to look? Because are you gonna have it full? Like, is it gonna be airy like this, which I think would just be cool? Or do you want to have it just like open all the way? But either way, this is gonna be a killer design, and figuring out the placements for the greens and the pinks and whatnot is really gonna elevate it and allow it to have this like fun, airy rave culture that we want. If this was helpful to you at all, hit subscribe. I'd love to see you come back and figure out how the rest of this vlog and this pattern goes. Also, buy from Seismic Yarn. Their stuff is freaking cool. It's really interesting yarn. It's really like just bright, super squishy, but the neon colors make this fantastic. Like, I'm really excited to just work this up and have pretty much anything to show for this by EDC, which is in May. In EDC Vegas is May. So I want to have this done and tested by then, but just to be able to have a rave baby wear this. If you're a raver, comment below. Let me know what type of things you look for in a design so I can help influence. And otherwise, we're gonna turn this into an actual pattern. It's gonna be wild. I'm really excited to do this. All right, y'all, if you wanna support, you can do so on Patreon, and you'll be able to see more of the details as we go into the sketches, the specific math, and all the things there. If you're trying to be a designer, I highly recommend you do it and help support. I would love to see other people trying to design things in the comments, talking about what they wanna do. Now let's end with our what if question from my grandmother's book that we talked about. The last video was, if you were granted one wish, what would it be? And I didn't have an answer for it.
That would be harsher punishment for parole violators, Stan, and world peace.
And I still don't, because I feel like I don't have any wishes that need to be granted that way. Like, I obviously could wish for money or wish for like telekinesis or anything there. Probably that I never run out of yarn. I feel like that would be a cool one, that I could just design whatever I wanted and have things drape and fit perfectly. Like, love that, but I don't really have an estimate for that. Ready for the next question for today? If you could spend one whole night alone with anyone in the world who is currently alive, who would you select? Put your comments or your answers in the comments below, and I'll see y'all in the next video as we continue to design. Oh, make sure you're following on like Instagram and stuff, because that's where I'm going to be posting some updates. The non-Patreon ones, just like quick questions and stuff, will be posted in there. I'll see you around the neighborhood.